call Kevin Haig.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, look, you two old... Get out. Kevin Haig has
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'll reset. Mr. Speaker, the Green Party supported Jonathan Coleman's appointment of commissioners and to replace the board members of the Southern District Health Board. And we did so, I guess, with a heavy heart. You know, it's not something that we readily do. And our reasons for doing so, for actually suspending the democratic representation of the people of the Southern District Health Board area, were different from the reasons that the Minister had for appointing commissioners. So our reasons were primarily twofold. We said that the District Health Board, the members of that board, had failed in their basic responsibility to represent the interests of the people who lived in that district. So we said, for example, that that District Health Board was facing unreasonable financial requirements from the Minister, and that that board had failed to stand up for the interests of people living in that district. So the Southern District Health Board came about through the amalgamation, the forced amalgamation of two districts, Otago and Southland. And one of the things we know about the population-based funding formula is that while it tends to work best and actually fairly well for district health boards that are of a middling size, it doesn't work so well for district health boards with very rural catchments because of the diseconomies of scale that they face. And it doesn't work well for district health boards at the other end of the scale, providing tertiary level services, because actually they have a higher cost structure inherent in needing to be able to provide those more advanced services. And Southern District Health Board is an amalgam of both of those kinds of district health boards. So of course it was under extraordinary financial pressure, and the District Health Board had failed to stand up to the Minister with his repeated requirements around breaking even. That was one reason, sir. We had another particular reason because of an issue that we had raised repeatedly, and that was the dispute between South Island District Health Boards and an organisation called Southlink Health over funds that had been retained by Southlink Health, and which the Southern District Health Board had the responsibility to try and get those funds back, whatever the more elegant word is for that, sir. And again, the Minister had gone to the District Health Board and said, I don't want you to take court action. And so even though the District Health Board had clear evidence that Southlink Health had retained funds inappropriately, they had legal opinions saying that potentially fraud had occurred, they took no action because the Minister said he didn't want it. And again, we said at the time, that the Southern District Health Board should have stood up to the Minister and done what was right for the people of that district. I didn't say at the time, but I could have done, that actually the District Health Board's decision to contract with Compass for food was also a disastrous decision made under pressure from the Minister. We were very clear that the decision to actually make the food somewhere else was not in the interests of the health of the patients of that district, not in the interests of the economy of the Otago and Southland regions, and was potentially disastrous in the case of some kind of disaster, natural disaster, where actually having a local service was appropriate. In general, sir, you know, it doesn't make sense to contract out a service that you actually need to use every day, all the time, like a hospital kitchen. So, Mr. Speaker, those were our reasons for supporting the appointment of commissioners. And Mr. Speaker, since then, under the watch of the commissioners, there has been more money that's gone into the District Health Board, with the Minister finally recognising that the District Health Board was underfunded. Not enough yet. The DHB has now given up under the watch of the commissioners on regaining that funding from Southland Health. And we've seen both patients and community appalled and angry about the slop, and I agree with Claire Curran's word, that is being served up to the patients in Dunedin and Invercargill hospitals. So, Mr. Speaker, there's some progress there, but also some things that have not improved. And, Mr. Speaker, we've also seen some things that have gotten worse. The Select Committee's report talks about this issue of transparency, and the Minister says, well, the commissioners have agreed to improve transparency by allowing the public into the advisory committee meetings. Well, Mr. Speaker, that's not really what the people of Otago and Southland are calling for when they say they demand transparency. We heard from various submitters, and in particular Te Runanga o Ngaitahu, about the fact that the DHB's statutory duty to honour the Treaty of Waitangi had effectively been suspended by the appointment of commissioners and by the way they had gone about their task. And, Mr. Speaker, we've heard from the Minister today that there's good news. What's going to happen now is that the commissioners have agreed to work with the Runanga to work out the appointment of representatives of Kaitahu onto the advisory committees. Well, again, that falls short of the requirement that's actually in the law. So, Mr. Speaker, yes, the commissioners appear to be doing some very good work, but also some things seem to have got worse. So, Mr. Speaker, it is evident to the Green Party, and it should be evident to everybody in this House, that the people of Otago and Southland want their democratic right back. They want the right to be able to appoint their representatives onto the District Health Board. And, Mr. Speaker, the Green Party will be voting to support that right. We'll be opposing the bill at this reading and in subsequent readings. In refusing to agree to that demand from the people of Otago and Southland, the Minister, the government, is actually answering a question: to whom should the District Health Board be accountable? And they are answering that question with the wrong answer, because they are making the primary accountability to the government and not to the people of that district. And that's the wrong answer, sir. Continuity of the work that the commissioners have begun is important, and it could have been achieved if the government had picked up the suggestion by Dr. John Chambers that the commissioners were appointed by the Minister under the powers that he has to the appointed positions on the board. And that could have been done while retaining the democratic rights of the people of the southern region. Mr. Speaker, that would have been the right thing to do.